Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today, we shall be talking about strategic decision making. Strategic decision making. Under this, we shall be talking about the nature of decision making, the classification of decision, the stages in decision making, the group decision making, which is subdivided into committee decision, selection of committee members, committee chairman, benefits and limitations of committees, use of committees in Nigerian organizations, creativity in decision making, steps in creative thinking, qualitative methods in decision making. Under the qualitative methods in decision making, we have the operations research (OR), we have the linear programming, and we have the queuing theory. Now, we want to start with the decision-making process. Decision-making is one of the most crucial activities of management. The necessity to decide is the everyday preoccupation of management in all types of organizations, whether small enterprises or multinational corporations. The decisions that management faces are sometimes simple, and in other instances, they are complex and overwhelming. A decision to increase production in a particular industry can necessitate the employment of more labor, increase in plant capacity, acquisition of more equipment, borrowing of money, and the mastering of new technological know-how. This decision can affect the entire economic climate, resulting in full employment, with its attendant consequences like the increase in money circulation and inflation. At the end of this unit, we shall be able to define what is called decision making, identification of the process involved, we classify decisions, and we describe group decision making, as well as discuss creative thinking and steps involved in creative thinking. Now, decision making process. What is a decision? A decision is the selection of alternative course. Alternative course of action from available alternatives in order to achieve a given objective. The decision-making process is what we are talking about, and we've just defined what is called a decision. The decision-making process is influenced by the unique environment of the decision maker his organizational position, available knowledge and experience in decision making, just to mention a few. Of course, a decision is a choice aimed at achieving optimum results in a given organization. Now, the nature of decision making. In business, there are absolutely no right or wrong decisions, but intelligent choices. What one considers a right decision in a particular time frame may turn out to be an unintelligent decision if circumstances change. With that, we move to classification of decision. Classification of decision can be grouped into three major areas as stated below. 1. Decision making under certainty. Two, decision making under risk. And 3, decision making under uncertainty. Let's start with the decision making under certainty. Let's start with certainty. Here, it is assumed that there is a single space, complete and accurate knowledge of the consequence of each event. A decision made with full knowledge. A decision made with full knowledge of the occurrence of an event is said to be a decision under certainty. Again, a decision made with full knowledge of the occurrence of an event excuse me. A decision made with full knowledge of the occurrence of an event is said to be decision under certainty. In this situation, the decision maker knows what the stated value of the payoff is expected to be. In a nutshell, that's what that is all about. For decision making under risk, the consequence of each choice cannot be defined. It cannot be defined by a correspondent relationship, even within a probabilistic framework. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. And for decision making under uncertainty, it is assumed that accurate knowledge about the probability distribution of the consequence of each alternative exists. With that, let's move to the stages in decision making. Every decision making process has some basic elements. In order to be effective, the basic elements include the following. 1. The formulation of goals or goals. 2. Mental process to acquire to acquire knowledge on the situation. Three, analysis to determine alternative course. Alternative course of action. 4, choice procedure. And 5, implementation. Formulation of goals. For one to make a decision, one must have goals that one expects to achieve. This is certain. The goals to be achieved may be determined by the organization and can aim at minimizing cost or maximizing profit. 2, acquire knowledge. A rational decision requires the decision maker to have a thorough understanding of the problem in order to make an intelligent choice. This demands that the decision maker saturates himself with facts about the situation. And at this stage, he seeks information from employees who have expert knowledge about the situation under study. When vital decisions are to be made, brainstorming is encouraged in order to avoid costly or hasty decisions. And it is therefore advisable to hear from both or from those who are interested in the problem and those who are opposed to it. The third one is analysis to determine alternative course of action. The essence of analysis at this stage is to determine possible courses of action, which may be the search for alternatives. The number of alternative ways of solving the problem that can be thought out depends on the effort expended by the decision maker in the search for alternatives. This is one of the crucial steps in rational decision making, because it involves the utilization of the vital information gathered through the process of defining the problem. 4, the choice procedure or decision. It has to be pointed out that the selected solution may not necessarily be the most satisfactory solution, but the most intelligent decision under the circumstance. Under this choice procedure, the final selection is influenced by the decision maker's past experience, his valued judgment, the logical process that has been established and followed in the previous steps above. Now, under this choice procedure or decision, it is important at this stage to ask 4 vital questions. Did I consider all possible alternatives that bear on the question? Does the selected alternative contribute to the realization of the intended objective? Will the decision lead to attainment of the preferred solution? Is this alternative capable of implementation? And for the 5th one, which is implementation, a decision process is not complete until it is implemented. The essence of any decision is to secure action. If this stage is not properly carried out, the entire process is a waste of time and resources. Now, factors involved in securing acceptance include effective communication, motivating the employees into accepting the decision, and pointing out the advantages to be achieved. effective control of the process for the implementation of the decision, and promoting the timing of events to aid coordination. Now, group decision making. An organization is not better than the people that make it up. The success or failure of an organization depends on the creativity of its human resources. Efficient and effective utilization of these people to make use of their intellectual abilities, in part, helps the growth of the organization. And there is a popular saying that two heads are better than one, which aptly illustrates the importance of participatory decision making. Now, group decisions calls for varied views, some optimistic and some pessimistic. In the final analysis, what determines whether a decision is to be made by an individual or group is the type of decision to be made and the importance of the decision to the immediate attainment of organizational objectives. That is that for group decision making. Now, committee decision. In modern organizations, committees are increasingly being used as effective administrative tools. In large and small organizations, committees are used for a variety of reasons. In large decentralized organizations, a committee is the device for achieving coordination of activities and sharing information among the various departments and divisions of a company. Therefore, a committee can be seen as a group of people assembled together to take action. To take action on an administrative task. In some organizations, there are committees for each key functional area such as finance, production, sales, auditing, purchasing, and of course, engineering. These are generally permanent committees. These committees often meet regularly, once or twice a month, to discuss general problems affecting their operation. Now, I want to move to selection of committee members. The selection of committee members. The effective use of committees in the solution of organizational problems depends on the selection of the right people to serve in the committee. Most of the criticisms often voiced in the use of a committee as an effective device in decision making depend on the quality of people appointed to serve on them. The selection of members of a committee should be based on qualifications such as knowledge of the subject matter to be assigned to the committee, interests, responsibility, availability, and emotional maturity. The number of people to serve in the committee is to be determined by the nature of the assignment. A large number is sometimes very cumbersome to manage, and it makes it often difficult to agree on a specific time and date for meetings. Should be based on qualifications such as knowledge of the subject matter, knowledge of the subject matter to be assigned to the committee. Interest, responsibility, availability, and emotional maturity. Next is committee chairman. The success or failure of a committee in most instances depends on the chairman. The chairman is expected to be a mature, intelligent, skillful, and versatile person who is capable of accommodating varied opinions. A committee succeeds when the members believe that the chairman is equal to the task and is capable of leading the committee to arrive at mature conclusions. A capable chairman is in a position to help reduce some of the major disadvantages associated with committees. Such as cost, idle debates, danger of compromise, and slow action. With that, we move to benefits and limitations of committees. Benefits and limitations of committees. The following are the basic advantages. Excuse me. 1. It makes different viewpoints available. What does this mean? The interaction between members brings out different viewpoints that could not have been considered or given due weight if the decision was made by one person. Collective views make for thorough and complete analysis. Thus, it provides a forum whereby knowledge, experience, and abilities of several experts are brought together. 2. Better coordination. Committee decisions helps to promote better coordination in the company. Better coordination. Committee decision helps to promote better coordination in the company. What does this mean? This means that in any type of organization, there is often constant need for coordination in order for everyone to pull in the same direction. The coordination of sales department with production, purchases, and advertising departments brought about by their being in the same committee will help to achieve optimum results. Three, collective responsibility for decision making. When the chairman of the committee takes a decision, what does this mean? It becomes a collective decision of the committee irrespective of whether a member likes it or not. The decision becomes the decision of the group, which they cannot afford to disagree with. In some instances, there is an overtone which suggests to members that he would like them to go along. What he really demands from them is support. Creativity in decision making. A good committee can be very creative. A creative committee is one that comes out with the new ideas. A good committee can be very creative. A creative committee is the one that comes out with new ideas, new approaches, and new ways of doing old things. Doing a common thing in an uncommon way, a new product, or new application, or a combination of existing knowledge. Creativity is one of the highly sought after talents in management. A creative manager seeks original solutions to existing problems. Creative thinking is necessary in business, for the organization is constantly in search of an imaginary solution to problems posed by its competitors and the total environment. Many organizations have individuals with great inventiveness and the unusual ability to create new ideas is the realization that some people are more creative than others. This is why committees are often used to find solutions to some organization or organizational problems. Creative committee is one that comes up with new ideas, new approaches. A creative committee is one that comes up with new ideas, new approaches, and new ways of doing old things. Doing a common thing in an uncommon way. A new product or new application. Or a combination of existing knowledge. Now, what are the steps in creative thinking? Studies have shown that certain steps are necessary in creative thinking. This can be summarized as follows. 1. Problem identification. You identify the problem. Next is to investigate. Next is incubation. Then illumination, verification, and the likes. Now, the steps in creative thinking. The first is problem identification. You investigate the incubation period, illumination, and verification. The first step in creative thinking is the perception that a problem exists. This can be in production, in sales, customer relations, or advertising. The discovery of this problem launches the creative individual immediately to seek for a suitable solution. No creative work has been achieved without dissatisfaction with the existing situation, which forces genius, quote unquote, to seek new ways. Investigation. This is the second step in creative thinking. In this step, the individual examines the problem and analyzes old ways of performing the task. This can call for intensive research into existing knowledge on the subject. There could be an exploration into all possible avenues that will lead to the discovery of such things as interrelationships and associations. This step involves the accumulation of facts and figures that bear on the subject. The incubation. This is a very important stage in the process. Here, the entire mind reflects on the problem. Sometimes a creative solution is not easily available, and the individual leaves the subject for more reflection. Creative thinking is not a choice of alternatives, as in decision making. It is a process of mulling over the problem. It may involve the use of unconscious mind. And of course, this period is characterized by frustration and helplessness. Illumination. An ideal brainstorming session highlights the importance of new ideas. And there are rules for a successful brainstorming session, which include the following. There's a criticism of ideas, which must be withheld until after the session. The group must welcome free-willing and encourage the wildest of ideas. They also develop a greater quality of ideas, which increases the likelihood of having one really useful idea. And of course, each member of the group should improve and relate his own ideas to the ideas of others. Verification. Some of the major criticisms of brainstorming are that it is time-consuming. Many man-hours are spent in generating ideas and also in crystallizing them. It also produces many superficial ideas. Nevertheless, its usefulness in creative thinking can hardly be overstated. In many organizations, it is indispensable in determining the name of a new product and determining a new advertising slogan. Political parties in Nigeria use it very extensively. Qualitative methods of decision making. The use of qualitative methods qualitative methods as aid in decision making is well recognized in large organizations in developing countries, and to a less extent in small industries. One of the major reasons for this is the limited education of the owners of small businesses. With increased education and the separation of owner-manager, these techniques will be increasingly found useful by businessmen. The first is operations research. The mathematical techniques used to aid in decision making are called operations research. Operations research has gained wide acceptance because of its use in modern high-speed electronic computers. Basically, operations research is the application of scientific method in the solution to business problems. Operations research is applied in a variety of business problems, which include the following: productive scheduling, new product development, long-range planning, warehouse location selection, retail outlet selection, product mix selection, portfolio management, just to mention a few. The use of operations research entails the building of models called equations to represent the system. We also have linear programming. And queuing theory. The linear programming, the operations research, and the queuing theory are second to none in the qualitative methods of decision making. The linear programming is a relatively new mathematical technique in situations requiring optimum allocation of resources, money, capital, equipment, raw materials, and personnel. It is useful in production management because allocation problem poses great complexity involving a large number of variables that can equally be solved through linear programming techniques. While the queuing theory is often called waiting line theory or waiting line theory. The system is used in determining the optimal utilization of a facility in an intermittent service. That is what the queuing theory is all about. In conclusion, we have learned that decision making is one of the most crucial activities of management. We have also seen that There is need to make decisions in all types of organizations, whether small enterprises or multinational corporations. The decisions that management faces are sometimes simple and in other instances complex and overwhelming. In summary, we have learned the definition of decision making. We have also identified the process involved in decision making and classification of various decisions. We are now conversant with group decision making, and we can now discuss creative thinking and the steps involved in it. With that, we have come to the end of today. We shall meet next time. God bless you. Thank you for listening.